Yes, 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 yes. We're here. We are here. We are here. We are here. I know some of you are feeling so much more alone than necessary, as you're feeling so overwhelmed with all of your experiences, as you're feeling into others like you've never felt into others before. And while this is a great opportunity for you to understand where they're coming from, what they're going through and struggling with, you absorb much too much. You are trying to understand and ascertain what is going on for others. And so you are prying into the energy fields to be supportive and sympathetic to them. This is done naturally, organically. And when you're not aware of how connected you are truly to each other, you absorb that density as if it's truly your own. Their mindsets will keep continually creating that density and will so until they do their inner work to find the bigger perspectives, to release the fear, the tension, the anxiety, and the stress that they choose to create and recreate at every given opportunity as they choose to. You are surrounded with these beings, with these people, even with these animals, the environment. You are surrounded by them all. And while others try to maintain a chipper upper right side of life attitude, there is still density that they're holding on to. Everyone has density. But when there are those people that try to be over friendly, overconfident, over empowered, but yet that has a fragility to the foundational structures of their frequency vibrations because they say the words, they act all calm and balanced with inner peace, but yet behind the energy field is very much struggles and strains. We see this as due to some of their lack of faith and belief and trust. And so when they have not empowered themselves fully, they can be fully fooled by other distractions and other agendas that others have for them as they are following. We say religions. When you follow a leader, where is that leader taking you to? Are you fully aware, or are you blindly going on that journey, trusting they are finding your nirvana, finding your enlightenment, finding your heaven? When you are following others, you're giving them the wheel to drive your vehicle, your mindsets, your attitudes, your belief systems. When you are in tune with self, with yourself, with your spiritual team, guiding you to remind you consciously why you are here. And we can say this to all because all have this foundational mission and purpose to love yourselves and to love others. This is easily said. When you stress and worry for others as you have accidentally tapped into their stress and worry, this washes over you. We have used the analogy of being a dirty sponge as you absorb, absorb, absorb. And we say some of you, our dear loved ones, are not aware of your position and placement of the world. The energy you can absorb from others is extraordinary. You may think it's your co-workers or your partners or your friends or family, and just these interactions that you're aware of. And we're saying you're absorbing so much beyond that. For dramatics, we want to say the one person you may be struggling with who is passive aggressive with their attitude and their position in the world and trying to press upon you their own inner works and problems and struggles. That may feel a lot, but we are saying times that one experience and density by 1,000,000, and that's what's here on earth. We can say much more than that in terms of frequency and dramatics of truly the density here. The density here is still stagnated amongst you all. And it's challenging because not only are you feeling everyone else's density, but you're also spending more time outside of the body in a more balanced and neutral place. So you are feeling the stark differences between your highs and lows, between your inner peace, solitude of empowerment and comfortability of knowing your value, knowing your place in the world, and knowing your life contract and why you're here to be of service, to be uplifting to everyone and hold high frequency. And then there is the reality of not confusing the dramas that you are involved in with your personal lives, because you're still trying to play human and interact human. And so you are overwhelmed. We see many of you are very overwhelmed with still trying to be interested in the small talk of being human, in terms of the dramas and the priorities people put on themselves to achieve money, to achieve notoriety, to achieve deadlines for paperwork, we could say. This does not truly interest the soul. In fact, this distracts the soul from growing, as the human ego is distracted from soul work, your energy work, your inner work, your empowerment of self at a conscious level. When you're using your ego, your mindset from your experiences to focus on other things that are not empowering one's self, any distraction, even if you enjoy the distraction, is not empowering yourself to have full confidence in your place of the world, to know how to fully ground yourself so you do not get stuck in the density that you are transmuting from others, as you are prying in to others' energy fields to be able to see how you can intuitively be of service. When you're hearing their troubles, when you're hearing their inner work being projected onto you, you're absorbing it all as you're trying to navigate unconsciously how to support them the most. But because you are still emotional beings, you get hurt by other people's pain that they are projecting out to you. Their judgment, their ridicule, their pain in terms of their viewing the world as being a horrific place to be. And we say, from our perspective, it is a very horrific place to be. But the purposes and lessons and experiences are honored by all. And this is very challenging. When you are here to be of service, to be high frequency vibrational, but you're very much aware of what's going on around you, and you know and can see all systems collapsing to awaken people to the systems that have not empowered humanity, you can very much easily get distracted in concerns and worries about how this is going to play out. As you are all empaths, you're very wary and concerned of things coming that will trigger people, as you know this will be part of your duty and job to also support them through it energetically, even though you do not care about financial systems, health systems, education systems, political systems, environmental systems, allegedly. When you are not emotionally invested in this, but you know others will react, and them being distracted in this and overreact and refuse to heal from it to see the bigger perspective, this is a drain on you. Because you're here to support those people who are distracting themselves in the details of their awakening. And they are not aware of what is being pushed and forced for them to notice. So they have a lot of scares, they have a lot of fears, they have a lot of worries, about coming things, because they know things can change very quickly. Events can change instantly. And as they are very much aware of sudden exit points from many, many people, they are also paranoid almost. That's an interesting word the vehicle is saying. Their death is dooming on them. Their death is dooming on them. And they have now quick realizations of checking, have they done enough for this lifetime that they think they only get one chance at? They've only ever lived once, they believe, and this is it. I best YOLO. Becca was never said that word before from her recollection, and she's always thought that it was a catchphrase for those who had no belief systems in reincarnation. And we say, you don't live once. But this is a perspective, because you only get to live this one lifetime now as you are now. And so for the vehicle, Joanne, she is living her one lifetime now as Joanne, but she has had many other lifetimes where she has had many other names and labels bestowed upon her. And she is aware that we want her to explore other lifetimes where she has been in the similar predicament to help support those on that planet and other planets, and how she has been able to connect with all of you in other formats, other situations, other lifetimes. She feels like this will help her understand the similarities of these events now to others, as she's curious to understand what cultural and society situations were occurring at the end of their days on their planets, and how that was, and what did successfully motivate others to know themselves and know what was happening to their planets. There's so much layers to the physical experiences, and the emotions are extremely heightened, and we encourage all to explore each individual emotion you are feeling to truly identify. You are noticing now when you're having your overwhelming moments and explosive reactions, you're catching what you're hearing, you're saying to yourself and others as you are venting, and you're hearing the words of your feelings, and being overwhelmed is often one of them. Not necessarily overwhelmed with your own personal lives, but overwhelmed with the amount of density you're transmuting through and supporting others with. And it is exhausting for you, as it is similarly draining and tiresome for us to keep sending energy and processing energy for those who keep choosing to make choices to loop into fear, loop into disempowerment. And they're creating as much density as we are sharing and sending out to all. And we agree, bigger awakening moments and experience must occur sooner rather than later from your perspective. The vehicle is begging for it. She is saying it is overdue. There is much to be shaken up and much opportunities. And we say, yes, indeed, we agree. But there's many big beings here, big souls that are afraid and scared, and they are resisting because they do not want to trigger humanity to awaken even further. And there is a counterpart to this, which we must remind you and make you aware of. The collectives that you could call the reptilians are very much scared because they're realizing that they are going to be out of control. And the things that they love the most, power, money, fame, are going to be taken away from them. And this makes them force themselves to look at their inner work and how they've conducted and behaved themselves. And this is the most scariest thing from their perspective, because that's their identity. That is their proud moments and their accomplishments of collecting the money and the fame and the notoriety and the social circles and the influence. And so for them to have this removed from them, it is like removing the skin. They are squeamish already and feel so vulnerable and raw. This is happening in all industries, and this is in heightening all to feel the triggers and the more intensive emotions of density that is flourishing through all communities. And everyone should be aware of these waves of anxieties and stresses as more people are having epiphanies that they're going to be losing control. This will force all to grow. And if you have not got balance and inner peace and faith in us and in yourselves and in your capabilities of grounding yourselves, this too could feel like a tsunami of emotions and density that you may not recover from. And we add that into dramatics. So we want you to just be reminded that while you could use your free will choices to have fun and frolic and distract yourselves, you must be able to remember why you are here and how you must be able to be of service to others. Loving each other and loving self, and not being reactive to being the human, while others are leaning on you to vent on you through their own expressions to try and figure out for themselves what's going on. We recommend over any medicine, over any advice, over any empowerment of love, we always try to recommend to you now, if you truly want to empower others, it is about asking them to recognize their own emotions of what is happening. This is a language you're not used to. It is very foreign and it feels too personal to be prying into people's emotions. But this is key to be able to get them to start thinking for themselves about themselves. When they are told what to think, when they're told what to do from a very early age, this is very raw and they feel very vulnerable to start thinking for themselves, to start feeling for themselves what they think and what they feel. And so this is a big step for them of self-empowerment to realize they get to decide what they think and feel. They get to label what they think and feel, and they are allowed to have ownership of how they think and feel. And they are also allowed to be respected for how they think and feel. This is a big key. Respecting how people think and how people feel. It is a journey. And you know those people that love to relish in the anger emotions and the victim emotions and not want to step up to being responsible, not wanting to be accountable for their own behaviors and reactions. They are driving big wedges between themselves and others because their emotions are too hurt. And we say that's a choice that they're making to do that. But you have choices whether you want to support them and endorse them with their pity parties, shall we say, because it is not time to wallow. Heal from things, grow from things, explore and expand upon things, but recognize it all. To be able to be empowered to choose that this is choices how you want to feel. Feel. You get to feel all. We see so many who have strong suspicions that they're supposed to be here to be of service. And that puts them into victim mode. That puts them into exhaustion mode because they don't know how to heal all. And we are saying it starts with one. Because when you know how to heal yourself and to respect yourself, then you know how to seek it and have it from others. When you do not respect yourself, you do not know how to expect and get respect from others. when you've trash talked yourself enough and you've gotten out of that habit to only speak kindly of yourself moving forward with positivity, then you can assert that to others. But when you trash talk yourself, you allow and invite others to trash talk yourself also. You don't stand up for yourself when you are bashing yourself, and you do not stand up for yourself when others follow suit. Some old relationships that have been occurring for a long time, especially when you have not been healed yourself, those old relationships still try to play out as if you are the same people as you were. People grow, people expand, people heal. But somewhat there is attitudes, and this goes for everyone. We invite you to see the person who is in front of you today and update yourself. Are you still holding them accountable for the things that they said and the things they were when you first met them? Have you seen their growth? Are you seeing them at a soul level, or are you actually seeing them for their humanness and the way they carry and conduct themselves? Some are too toxic and do not want to grow. And for you to be playing with them with that, either you trigger them or you step away from them. Because if you allow people to have what we could say bad behavior and being very hurtful and spiteful, and they're not willing to grow, then you're endorsing this. You must either trigger them or go, because you endorsing them to stay as they are is also part of the problem. Boundaries, our loved ones. Boundaries with all, and boundaries with self. You have grown to realize that some of your self-talk was not empowering. This is part of everyone's journey. We have so much to remind you of, and we know that this is a very busy time for you to get these routines down, where you understand how to ground yourself and slow down your busyness to be able to see the lessons and purposes for all connections and interactions with others. This is an important time for you to be aware that the larger energy fields and consciousnesses that you carry, the more you're a conduit for other people's guides. So they are getting frustrated with their 3D versions of self. And so they will be pushing you and triggering you to push and trigger them. And this is never fun to have these competitive triggers and challenges. But we say, when you know that that is part of being of service to help their guides effectively channel through you to be of service, to challenge and awaken. We say many people are very heightened, and so when you challenge someone's belief systems and when you challenge someone to grow, a trigger is beautiful for this, but triggers are challenging, and even the deliverer of the triggering gets triggered. This is no joke, the vehicle says, as she is being guided to do this regularly, and she can see the beautiful purpose of it, but it is like a bee sting. Nobody wants to have a bee sting, because when you are stung, it swells your egos, it swells your pride, it swells a lot. And so when you are stung by the honeybee, there is much there that is to make you grow, make you notice, make you focus. And this is a great time for everyone to focus. And eventually people are going to be able to thank those who trigger them, because they realize this was a sticking point that they were not willing to or be ready to notice. And so whoa, this was a gift that was unsurprised. This was a gift that was a surprise, but not a surprise to all who are supporting and guiding you. It was well overdue. And so we say, open up all of your gifts, even the challenging ones, the hidden ones that you were trying to suffocate and refuse to explore and look at. You have to explore these, and they will not be hidden. As if you are avoiding any inner work, it is coming for you. We know this sounds so scary for you who are trying to outrun it and out hide it. And we say the effort that you put in place to avoid your inner work is much more greater than the actual processing, exploring, expanding upon, seeing the significance and purposes and healing from it and learning from it and accepting it to grow. Given that this is now opportunities and experiences for you to recognize in others to be able to support them in their journey. It's very convoluted and complex. You will make it. And we have so many here who are trying to get their messages across because the energy frequency is now very heightened, which normally gives the larger vehicles who can hold high frequency joy and upliftment. But this is pressing upon those who are holding density. It's almost like squeezing. The vehicle is not appreciating our analogy that we're wanting to share, which is like squeezing an abscess and it's about to explode. And we say all of the inner work is about to explode. And the pressure, this high frequency pressure, there's squeezing on this density, there is only one which way to go. And it's to grow and to heal. And so find your abscesses within your limited belief systems or your hurt experiences that you can't see. It was always to give you the lesson to empower yourself. We say, how do you think you learn to love yourself and respect yourself? We give you opportunities where people don't love you and don't respect you, for you to be so outraged and triggered to grow. You firmly and forcibly love yourself. We say with love and inspiration and peer pressure for you to do that. But you will be surrounded with people who will not love you and forcibly show you that they are not loving you, for you to eventually be motivated to do this for yourself. It is all about you empowering you in every which way possible. So if you're not doing this, you will be triggered to be forced to do this for you. Many people who feel very overwhelmed that they are not getting the support they need and want from others, this is because this is your inner work to do this for yourself. Yes, we see many aha moments now. And we're not laughing at you because this is very challenging, because usually you're so supported as a unit that you wouldn't need to rely on anyone else because it's all within you. And it is here too, but you have to earn it and work on it. And that's foreign because usually you are in such a high frequency, it's just a given. But your experiences to trigger you to have that consciousness, awareness of doing things for yourself and empowering yourself. There's this expectation that we should be filling into each other and feeling this love energy frequency flowing backwards and forwards from each other. And when we feel into each other and you don't receive that love that you usually get from that soul elsewhere in different dimensions, this can be hurtful. This can be a rejection. This can be an abandonment. This can be a whole lot of inner hurt working feelings, as you cannot understand why the soul is not able to give you what the soul usually does give you. You're in 3D. This is about an independent journey. You're seeking and craving source love energy from each other. But when you are focusing on how to achieve this for yourself, that is a significant purpose and key, and part of the core essences and experiences you wanted to have here. This is why many are going to be so excited and a longing for the fifth dimension, because that unity of vibrations, togetherness is complete and harmony. And it is so loving and graceful and with ease. And we're wanting to give the vehicle this experience of being connected into the fifth dimension again. It's painful emotionally because it is overwhelmingly pure love that you're all shining out to each other. And it is beautiful. And she is very much aware that this is certainly not how you conduct yourselves in the third dimension. And there is an abundance of lack with this energy frequency. And it's quite isolating where you do feel alone in the third dimension because you're not feeling each other's high frequency vibrations of love. It's very distant from that. It's very dense from that. And so we wanted to just confirm with her once again what you're all supposed to be working towards: unity of love and compassion for all. You're having to unite and care about each other the best you can in the third dimension, but when you're still trying to work out and learn and see and accept, you have your own inner work to complete first. Empowerment of self is extremely significant before you can be able to share love to all. It's extraordinarily challenging. And some of you are able to do it with ease and grace and joy. And that is marvelous and very impressive. Because for the density that everyone else is experiencing, it's extraordinary to be able to be in balance and neutral with that amongst all of that. We will leave you with this message of love and inspiration and perspectives for you to ponder, and we ask you to keep listening to these sessions to be able to hear the new layers of information that you can hear now and absorb now, understand now, and perceive now, because you are growing at a rapid rate and you're identifying more that this is you we are speaking to. And we've been speaking to you the entire time. But you were hoping that maybe it was someone else that needed to do that inner work. And you were hoping maybe it was someone else who wasn't loving themselves enough. And you were hoping maybe it was someone else that we were speaking to about being insecure and keeping small. And so we say with love and gratitude for all who are willing to be of service, to complete their life journey and mission, to be able to help humanity be released from this density, to find their way back to unity of love. We salute you and we encourage you to keep going, and to remind you that pacing yourself with your water throughout your day, with grounding yourself with peaceful thoughts, with positive reminders, with faith and trust that all is well and all will be well. That this is a very heightened time, and we say with your great capabilities of energy that you are holding, it is very easy for you to collect more density than you have been able to be aware of. Go with love. Celebrate each other's journey. And when there is someone being of positivity and looking like they are starting to think and feel for themselves and recognize their own emotions, celebrate that. Outrageously celebrate that and encourage them. This is what they need to realize that they're on the right steps. They're on the right journey of empowerment of self. That is an exciting time for them. But they will need some encouragement to grow and keep growing. So celebrate all growth. Celebrate all. And we say this with love.